The realization of being an adult is is it's that way. Adulting is not just something everybody does. Well, it is, but there is so much that is expected of you. There's so many expectations on you when you become an adult. When you get to an age where legally and socially you are considered an adult, and even more so, scientifically, your brain is considered to have matured, then you know that you get to understand some of the things that should have made you, had you known or had you had an idea, not wish to become an adult so fast. Because when we are young, all we want to do is to be grown ups. We want to be adults because we see that they have freedom. And yes, it's true that when you're an adult, you have freedom that you didn't have when you were a kid. But when you become an adult, there are certain things that are expected of you. And some of these things are that you're able to take care of yourself. You're able to contribute to the community and the society you're in. You're able even to influence certain things in your family and in your circle. You are expected to be able to stand up for yourself and to just live independently as a person. I have been thinking about my life the last few weeks and just getting to really see how everything falls on me, that I am responsible for everything that is happening in my life. Oh, one moment before you get all wound up because of what I'm saying. But yes, I understand and I agree that there are things that I can control and there are things that I cannot control. But it all boils to things that happen in my life. I am responsible for them in one way or another because whatever happens now or however I am living my life right now is as a result of the actions I took yesterday and the years that have passed. So, in essence, my life as it is right now, I am responsible for everything in it. And it's so freeing because when you get to a mindset where you take responsibility and especially personal responsibility for your own personal life, you stop giving control to other people and you take back that control because the moment you accept that whatever is happening in your life is your responsibility and nobody else's, then you can sit down and come up with solutions to what you think is a challenge or is a problem in your life. Remember, growth begins by the implementations of the right solutions. But if you remain in a mindset where you're thinking that someone else is responsible for whatever is happening in your life, whether you can control it or not, you will always be giving the power to someone else. And it's such, I lose the word for this, but it's not the best way to live your life because then you always live in a mindset of blaming others. Even you get to a point where even for those things that are solely on your own, I mean, you have control on, they are your responsibility, you blame others for them. And for me right now, I'm really thinking about my life so much so that I got to a point and I realized that if anything was to happen to me, or I got fired, or I could not work today, I would immediately become a burden to those people around me. And this would be my family. Because I don't have savings. I don't have personal insurance. I I cannot take care of myself if I don't have my job. And you can look at these in very many ways, because when I think about it, all these years were possible for me to have done so much for myself, especially financially, which includes saving, investing, and all these things. But I didn't. And so my financial status at this moment is nobody else's fault but my own, because I didn't take the steps that I have known for a few years that I am supposed to take, so that I can be able to protect myself against the eventualities of life which happen. And some of these things we don't have control over. But then it's just sitting back and realizing that it is my responsibility. And I posted a video a few days ago where I was talking about change and how it's the only constant thing that happens in life. And a portion of it, I talked about the fact that change will happen, that a year from today, there will be some changes in your life and in my life. But the direction of the change is solely dependent on the actions that you take today and on what you do today. So if you decide and you actually do take your time to develop a skill, a high value skill, or you decide to start a business or to start something that can grow and do something positive for you, or if you decide to just live life the same way you have been living and slip back over and over again into bad habits, then there will be a change after the 1 year. But these two people will have very different kinds of changes. And so change is inevitable, but the direction of the change is solely under your control. It is totally under my control. So it's the choices that I make today that will determine what kind of change I will see in a year, in a few months, in a few weeks. I also shared a short video a while, no, actually, the last short video I shared, I spoke about how nobody cares. Nobody cares what you're doing with your life. Well, maybe your parents care, but in a sense of it, nobody cares about what you're doing or what you think is good for you, because everybody is self-cautious about themselves. So when you're here thinking, oh, when I do this, what will so and so think? What will this group of people think about it? How will they start viewing me as a person? My friend group will think I'm weird, or all these things. You forget that everybody else is worrying about the same things. So everybody is worrying about themselves. They are self-cautious. So if you don't do things because you're worried about what people will think, you lose time. And so I am getting into a point where I'm constantly reminding myself that nobody cares. No one. And if they care, then that's their own. That's their own. If they care, that's their life. If they care, it's okay. Let them care. But you care about what you're doing, about what you want from life. Let people care about what they want to care about. But know that nobody cares about you as much as you care about yourself. So don't limit yourself. Live life for yourself. Give the best that you can. Do what needs to be done and just go for it. I'm telling this to myself more and more, that I need to go for it and stop worrying about what people think about it. The other thing is just do it. Just do it. Stop overthinking. Now, I have realized that I tend to want to do something only when everything seems to be on a row. It's like I'm waiting for all my ducks to be on in a row, which is a really sad way to look at life, because things will not always work out all the time. And it's about taking baby steps. It's about doing one thing, a step, taking a step at a time, doing one thing and building on it over time and over time. Just using this kind of a domino effect where pushing one thing that leads you into pushing another and then into another, and overall then getting to accomplish milestones that you would not have accomplished if you waited for everything to work out. So don't overthink things, just do it. Just act. I have been hearing quite a number of times that doing something does not necessarily need you to be motivated, but rather that you can create motivation from actually acting and doing something. So I urge you, do something, just go for it and just do it. I've also been getting myself into a mindset of taking risks. And I have a friend of mine and a colleague at work who recently, we were talking about something, but he just emphasized to me, Juliana, you are young, you still have time. And when I may think that in certain things that really I don't have the luxury of time, in true sense is I have time. I am young. I'm not as young as I was 7 years ago, but I'm younger than so many people. I am actually still very young to get off being a youth. So I am a youth, and being a youth means that you're young, you are strong, you have the energy, and you have the time. And so I'm allowing myself, if I see something that requires me to take on actions without knowing the full extent of it, I am ready to take the risk, because I'm seeing how some of my friends and former classmates are doing so well. And it's just because they took the risk and they did something without having all the answers. And now it's giving them so much that they are reaping from it. And I'm learning that this is the time where I could take risks. And the good thing is, I'm only responsible for myself, at least fully. I'm only responsible to myself. I'm not married, I don't have kids, nobody is looking up to me. And so I can easily take risk, and the effect of my risks would not affect so many people, but mostly just me. So it gives me a confidence that I would not be affecting somebody else's life if I decide to take on a risk that could really work out for me and for my life. I'd like to read something about risk that I saw somewhere, and I think it's such a profound statement, and it goes like this. You miss 100% of all shots never taken. The risk of failure is inevitable, and so is the risk of success. So give it a try, or better still, give it your best. So go out there and take risks, but take calculated risks. The biggest lesson that I am learning right now and really putting into action is to submit to the things that I know I must do. Because, for starters, I am a dreamer and I am a planner. I can plan every day, but my problem comes to acting on those plans. And so I have realized that my life has remained in the same level all for so many years, simply because I do not act on the things that I know I have to. So the last few weeks I have been pushing myself to do things that I know I must do, to submit to doing them. if it's doing exercise, just figuring out what it is that I want to do to keep myself active. If it is eating, it's seeking out to eat healthy and just doing things that will enhance my life, allowing myself to only consume content that is beneficial for me and not to do it so much that I keep my mind so overstimulated and not giving it space to create. So for me right now, I am just learning, and I would really encourage you to also submit to the things that you do. You know you must do if you are to succeed in your life. I know it's the end of the year, and we are already seeing so many content creators talking about preparing for the new year, resetting for the new year, and reflecting on the year that was. And guys, so I decided to take my journal and just look back to last year and what I was doing in December and what I was planning for 2023. And whew, it's so humbling and man, it's a humbling experience to just look back. But I'm hoping that when I do the same exercise again in 2024 in December, things will be different. Because right now I was looking at things and I was like, how did I expect to be able to do this? But anyway, I wish you could just go back, look at what you wrote in December 2022 about your year in 2023, and maybe even the resolutions you set for yourself, and just see how far you are, what you are able to do, and just choose to do things different for this coming year. I think it's a good way to just prepare for the momentum that comes with being a new year, where everybody is chasing their goals, everybody is setting systems and routines and all these things, just to be ready so that you just jump into a new year without not starting something but then continuing with something. Man, I'm just realizing that adulting is not your mate, you know. It's adulting really is tough for sure, and given that so many things we have to learn, and even more importantly to relearn some of the things. So for me, I'm learning that adulting is kind of not so easy, but at the same time also realizing that how I adult and how my life turns out is totally my responsibility. It is upon me to choose and to do the things that will really make a difference in my life in a positive way, because change will happen, but the direction of the change is solely dependent on me. And so I hope that you can go out there and just submit to doing the things that you know that you must do, and take responsibility for everything that is happening in your life. But before I close this video, here's something I'd like to read for you. Success is when opportunity meets preparation, and whoever seeks opportunities understand that they come in all forms. So be open-minded, do something today for tomorrow, and always keep your health at check. So there you have it. I wish you all the best, and I urge you to go out there, be you, do you, and always do your best. Until next time, bye.